I feel like the people who have been the hardest for me to let go of in my life are the people who were never actually mine. Like the people you might have been in a talking stage with, or it might have been a situationship, or it might have been, you have feelings and they didn't have feelings for you back. I feel like those have been the hardest people for myself personally to let go of. But I feel like a big reason for them being so hard for me to let go of was because I felt like I was trying to earn them. I felt like I was trying to prove myself to them. I felt like I was trying to, put out my value and hope that they would see it and value me to, essentially take a chance on me and have them in my life. And that could go deeper into my childhood and stuff like that, and just how I grew up as a kid. But I feel like in having that anxious attachment to feel like I had to prove, to feel like I had to earn people, it kept me heavily disappointed and trying so hard to force people into my life that were truly never for me, to the point that it made it so hard for me to actually let go of them and come to peace with the fact that they didn't like me. And I feel like this is a big reason for a lot of people. I feel like when you create this vision and this expectation in your mind of thinking somebody is the best thing for you, and you're so certain of it, you're so certain that they should like you, you're so caught up in, your ego wanting things to turn out a certain way, that when things don't go according to plan, or things don't go according to how you wanted them to, or people don't turn out to be the person that you wanted them to be, in the sense of liking you back or wanting to take a chance on you or being interested in you, it can really hurt. And it can really put you in a place where you feel like this must mean this, and this about myself. It must be something wrong with me. I must be ugly. I must be this. I must be that. Or I must got to stand out more and do this. Or I must got to stand out more and do that and force this and force that. Or I must got to prove myself more. I must got to put in more love and stuff. Like, you could get so mentally like just conflicted and just confused to where you just set yourself up for failure. You set yourself up to be attached to this person. You set yourself up to struggle so much to let them go, because at this point you're investing so much emotional energy into it, emotional effort into it, to the point that you dang near feel the damage as if you were in a relationship with them, simply because in your mind you thought you could fix this person, or you think you could prove to them to see your worth, or get them to see your worth, or something like that. Like you invest so much time and energy into it, to the point that it has the emotional impact as if you were in a relationship, even though you weren't. And I'm saying this as somebody who has done this so many different times in my life. Like, there's been so many situations where I've emotionally just gotten upset, or you can find yourself being like obsessive, or not obsessive, but like possessive of a person, feeling entitled, basically, like a sense of entitlement for somebody to treat you how you're willing to treat them, or see you how you see them. And I feel like the biggest shift for me was just allowing people to have their own opinion of me. Like, I understand, like, I'm not for everybody, and everybody's not for me. Not everybody I like is gonna like me back, and not everybody that likes me I'm gonna like back. And allowing people to truly just like choosing people who choose me. I feel like that's like the place where I'm at right now. Like, I don't want anybody who doesn't really want me. And so I feel like it's okay, and you have to understand, like, yes, you're gonna catch feelings for people, you're gonna like people, you're gonna want certain people in your life that will want nothing to do with you, essentially. And just allowing that to be early. Like, when people show you who they are, when people show you if they're interested in you or not in the beginning, like, just take that for what it is. And again, don't try and force it to go your own way. Don't try and prove yourself. Like, sometimes you gotta let people go before you ever even truly invest yourself into them, because you just gotta understand and see it for what it is, and understand that it may not be what you want it to be. Because oftentimes I feel like we lead ourselves to our own damage. We lead ourselves to our own pain, our own disappointment, simply because we chose to ignore what was always there. But it was like we kept pushing it, we kept trying to force it, we kept trying to change it, we kept trying to convince. And that's what led it to hurting so much more and being a bigger problem than it needed to be. And again, I really feel like this just stems from the crazy fairy tale or fantasy that we create in our head, this narrative of thinking that, oh, because I feel this way about this person, or I see this potential, or I think we could turn out like this, and our future could look like this. you're so like caught up in thinking that's what's best for you. You're so caught up in thinking that's certain. And I see people all the time, they come to me, they're talking to me like, I feel like I missed my opportunity. I feel like that was my only chance to find somebody who was truly for me and stuff like that. And it's like, when you just create your own narrative and, you know, things always were never going to work out, or things were never going to become anything, you just chose to ignore that because you were so caught up in what you wanted, what your ego desired, essentially. And when you get attached to your ego's desires and, you know, essentially what your heart wants or what your feelings want, like, you got to realize, like, they're not always guaranteed to come true. That just because it feels like it's what's best for you doesn't always mean it's what's best for you. Because oftentimes we have this filter. It's like we're filtering out, oh, what aligns with what I want, what aligns with leading me to the outcome I want, and then we just pretty much ignore all the red flags or all the reasons why it's not for us. Because, but put it this way, somebody who likes a girl or a guy could see them hugging them as like, oh, she must be into me, oh, she must feel this way about me. Or you make eye contact and it's like, oh, she was over here looking at me. But then if it's a friend or somebody you're not interested in, you make eye contact with them and it's nothing. Or you hug a friend and it's nothing. It's like you filter out the way your perception of people, your perception and your interpretation of certain situations based on how you want them to go. And so sometimes you filter out and ignore all the normal stuff that doesn't mean anything, but you shift it to mean something in order to fit the narrative that you want it to fit. And so when you like do that to yourself mentally and get attached to that mentally and create this high expectation of things, oh, it must be going this way, or things are going to turn out this way, or I'm so sure of it, like, then yeah, it hurts a lot more when things don't end up turning out how you thought they were going to turn out. But I feel like the biggest thing when it comes to letting those types of situations go is coming to acceptance for what it actually is. And again, not what you want it to be. Because sometimes I had to, in my past, just truly ground myself and saying to myself the reality, thinking to myself the reality of what a situation was or what a person was, and letting go of, again, who I wanted them to be, or the crazy fantasy and vision I created in my head. Because again, sometimes we overlook the red flags in people solely to focus on the green flags because they fit into the narrative that we want. Again, many of y'all might be caught up on exes or, again, people from your past where it was like you constantly saw the good in them. You constantly saw why they were for you, but it was like, obviously they weren't for you because it didn't work out, or things fell apart or whatever, or, you know, they decided to give up on you. So obviously that situation wasn't for you, but you're only seeing it from the lens of what you want it to be. You're only seeing it from the lens of, I want this person back into my life. I want this person to play this role in my life. And so you have to be very self-aware of when your mind is creating its own narrative and when you actually start to believe that narrative, because sometimes you got to bring yourself back to reality and be like, no, this is who this person is. This is what this situation is. And, you know, this isn't for me. And so I can't allow myself to feed into this false narrative of thinking this was what's best for me when it clearly wasn't. Because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it can be disappointing. It was like you have feelings for a person. They may have even told you they had these feelings for you, or these different promises, or they was giving you these signs, and things just fall apart. Things don't turn out, again, how you wanted them to. Maybe they picked somebody else over you. Maybe they ended up not being interested in you all along, or maybe they just didn't want nothing more. Whatever it might have been. Like, sometimes you just got to come to acceptance and terms with that. Like, sometimes it will sting. Sometimes it will hurt because you felt some type of emotion towards a person. And that is okay. But I feel like in order to let go of people who were never truly yours, you have to come to acceptance that they weren't who you wanted them to be, or they weren't yours in the first place. Because we get this sense of entitlement that people should be ours because we do this and this. Sometimes we give out a certain amount of love, or we're willing to do all these different things, and it's like, in being willing to do this, we think people should feel this way about us because we're willing to do those things, or because we gave out this certain amount of love and we treat people this certain way, they should feel this type of way about us. But you have to let go of that sense of entitlement, because again, people aren't entitled or guaranteed to like you. And so sometimes you got to learn to detach and not get so attached to that expectation or that want, because that's how you emotionally get yourself so deeply involved. But I feel like, again, in order to truly let go of what was never truly yours, it's both accepting it but also moving forward and not allowing it to mean something about you. Because oftentimes we have this hard time letting go because we allow letting go or people not liking us to mean something about ourselves. We allow it to mean the value that we hold, or we allow it to form some type of opinion we feel about ourselves. And it's like, until we get this person's validation, until we get their acceptance, then until we get their approval, then this must mean this about me, or this must mean this about me. And half those times those are negative, and that's why it feels like we constantly gotta prove. That's why it feels like we constantly get so attached, because we've always been a person where if people disliked us, then we felt the need to prove why they should like us, because we couldn't come to terms and peace with the fact that we're not for everybody and not everybody's for us. But that's why it's so important to learn how to deal with rejection. It's just understanding, like, not everybody gonna like you, but that doesn't mean it has to mean something about you. If you're somebody who you feel like you constantly struggle with that, dealing with rejection, letting go of people who were never yours, then be sure to check out the Letting Go to Grow community down in the description. I think it could be very beneficial to you. But, you know, back to the point of just like, when you learn to really deal with rejection, understanding that, you know, people are going to reject you, people aren't always going to like you, but that doesn't mean you take that as an opportunity or see it as a problem or a situation where you have to go out and prove, where you have to go out and try and stand out, where you have to go out and try and like show your value even more and more and more in order for people to recognize it. Like, sometimes you just got to just let things be. Let things hurt, deal with the pain, deal with the disappointment, and just allow it to flow. Like, you'll get over it eventually, but it's all in you being willing to move forward and not sticking around in places that have already shown you that they aren't for you. Sticking around with people that have already shown to you, again, sometimes you gotta pay attention to people's actions, because their actions will tell you their true feelings about you. But sticking around people who have already prove to you or shown to you that they want nothing to do with you. You know, you got to choose people who choose you. You got to choose to like people who like you, because if not, you're going to catch yourself and dealing with people, dealing with situations where it's just one-sided, and you're giving all you have to try and get this specific outcome or get things to turn out this different, a certain way. And that expectation never comes true, or that vision or that hope that you're holding on to, it never becomes fulfilled, because that person all along wanted nothing to do with you. You just chose to see it from the perspective of, you know, this is what I want, and so this is how I'm going to see it, and I'm going to ignore the reality of the situation. But, you know, I love and appreciate you guys as always. Be sure to leave a comment down below if you enjoyed the video or learned a thing or two. I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. Peace.